he's like, I just don't get it. Like, these women just keep saying that I'm like too sexually generous. He's like, I don't know. Can you help me, please?
On this episode, I'm going to be interviewing Jackie, a matchmaker here in South Florida, who's going to be talking to us about what women want, what men want. Is it about looks? Is it about money? You're about to find out what she has to say. And more importantly, we're going to put Albert on the hot seat and see if she can maybe potentially match him. Can she do it? Let's get into it.
But more women generally hire matchmakers than men.
No, a lot of men hire matchmakers.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Like a lot of my clients are very picky and they're looking for a very specific thing.
I would figure more men actually would want matchmakers.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I don't know. I thought that'd be the other side.
Well, women do too. Like a lot of women that are like, if they really want to have kids, or like a lot of our clients that are women are a little bit older and this is like their second time around. So
when you say picky, what are we talking about? What do you have any like weird requests as a matchmaker? Like she's got to have her nose has to be at least 3 inches.
I don't know. Like people don't get that specific, but like people are crazy, and then they'll like send me girls from Instagram, and they'll be like, "Oh, she needs to look like this." I'm like, "Okay, this is very filtered."
Doesn't sound like anybody we know.
No. Yeah. Who would do that?
Yeah, he's like, I'd like a girl that walks around with a human filter. Is that possible?
Yeah. What percentage of the time are people's? And you can be honest with us. Are people's expectations of what they can get realistic?
What percentage of the time? I mean,
do people understand their relative dating world value, or are they just oblivious?
They're oblivious. A lot of people are oblivious. Like there's a conversation that I have to have, which is like stay in your lane. Like, and I know that sounds wrong, but it's true. Like you
I like
it. No, you have to be honest.
If they're coming to a professional, they should hear the blunt honesty. I love that.
Yeah.
You have no hope for this. Sorry.
Yeah.
Not gonna...
Can you move the mic a little closer to you?
But that's like, Jared, I think that's like a microcosm of what we've been talking about on the show, right? Where people, because they have this false abundance mentality, think that they like can achieve things that are like, okay, I can get with anybody. I have all these options, because they don't have the cold approach, real life feedback of like going up, feeling rejection, getting kicked down. They're just like, oh, I can try a million girls and swipe and look at all these girls that are out there.
I think they look at Instagram as like the menu, and they're just like,
right,
I guess, because I see them, therefore I should be dating them. I see somebody, maybe a guy like me or whatever, versus actually putting in the work to know how to get to know her, to actually be in that social circle, or do matchmaking. So for those who don't know, we got Jackie here from Fairy Matchmaker. Is that?
Yeah, it was IDL. I deserve love.
I deserve love.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I like that.
So how did you get into the matchmaking? Because we always teach guys, look, if you want to meet a girl, you have to do it online dating, cold approach, walking up to a girl randomly, or you have to meet her through your friend and cultivate a social circle. You're like the ultimate online version though, because you have like data and stats to match people up the right way, or how does that work?
Yeah, so it's like a done for you way of doing it. Like we'll pick out the girls for you. We're going to get to know you and what you're looking for, learn your values, and then we're going to match you with your best possible person.
So how do you know, other than like the looks thing, like what makes you feel like this girl's perfect for this guy? Like what are the key compatibility points? I'm like a nerd, so I'm trying to think like the video game, like he's got to have nerd points and she's got to be like certain heights, or
I think it's like a lot of times it's like an energy, which is why I call myself the fairy matchmaker, because it's like intuition, and sometimes I'll just be like, oh, ding 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 ding, they go together. That doesn't always happen, but sometimes it does.
I was gonna say, like, do you go more on what they're telling you they want or what you feel they want? So I guess that answers that. You're going on more feel, like, trust me, I got you. You think that you want this like shy innocent girl, but you need a strong woman to put you in your place.
I mean, kind of, but then also it's also like based like, okay, if someone wants to have kids and somebody else doesn't, that's not going to work.
Right, lifestyle-wise, right.
Yeah.
How quickly do you know who you want to put? Like, how long would it take if I do an interview with you for you to be like, all right, I got you sized up, I know what girl to put with you?
I don't know. I mean, like, it takes like an hour, like, to really get to know somebody and get in touch with what's the most important thing that you're looking for.
So you can't just be like, okay, this guy's covering his teacup with both hands, sitting here like an angel, like he needs a certain type of girl. You can't just make that.
He needs a homey girl.
Like, look at the way he's sitting. Like, I feel like I can make some assumptions.
What's your read
here
on Albert? We want to kind of.
First of all, his tea's hot, so we know that.
Okay, the tea is hot. Yeah, I mean, like, okay, so
We're putting her on the spot here, guys. She doesn't have enough information.
I
She's
need-
like,
I
I
need,
need more women in my database to help.
Let's
yeah,
take a half a step back before we go
Yeah.
a step forward here. So, Brandon, to your left here, years ago came up with something I thought is pretty genius. We used to call it the scale, which is a way to make more educated decisions on relationships.
Okay.
Because I feel like most people, and you could probably agree with this, they overvalue the idea of looks or physical attraction. That
The X
gets
Factor?
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
So-
Yeah, it's nice.
most people overvalue
I like
looks
that he
and
gave me credit.
physical attraction. And then the other thing that's always considered is personality. Like, who are they as a person? You know, how do we blend? But I think what you just described earlier is what we used to call X factor, which is like,
Yeah.
do they want kids? What are their work hours? How do my friends get along with them, right? Like,
Yeah.
what is their relationship history? So that X factor thing, I think, is like something that the majority of the dating public, I think they don't even really consider as much. Would you agree?
I would agree, yeah. And I think, like, to what you guys first were saying about Instagram being a menu, like, for sure. And that's a big part of it is people are just like, oh, I saw this on Instagram. Like, I want to date a girl like her. Like, so many times we get Instagram profiles and make it look like hers.
For our viewers and listeners, by the way, that was Albert's "I'm talking to a woman now" voice, where he sounds like an 11 p.m.
Right.
Jazz radio host. Welcome
Do it
to
side by
the.
side with a former
oh, yeah.
episode. And right.
Please.
With a male guest. And
Oh, yeah. Pause the video. Please go back and watch the previous two where he's like, "Yeah, so I'm at the bar," and he's like, "Yeah."
Well, I'll
so
tell you this, though, Jack.
It's a very
and
interesting
so
point you're
Brandon
making.
Brandon's our mutual best friend, and he's, even though he's not, it's a weird term
ahead,
to use,
use it.
classically trained like Jared and I are in social skills.
I do play violin.
It's like natural, synthetic, hybrid.
Okay.
No, complete synthetic.
I know you.
So we are, but what he's talking about is true. Like, we actually teach this to our guys, and I think this is something I think in the matchmaking industry that's interesting because your guys' industry and our industry is very similar but slightly different. So we teach the guys social skills, how to read social cues, how to not be creepy, how to have awareness. So what we do is probably prepare them for what you do, which is get them the dates, right? And what Brandon's saying is 100% right. I actually teach this. I taught this today in a class. You have to have different voices because certain guys, they're like, I'm a shy guy. And Jared's like, well, get out there and be fun. And then they develop the fun voice, but they don't know how to calibrate to the right situations. Because I think you have to actually sound and carry yourself differently to be congruent with the situation. So that's something we teach. Do you feel like your guys have issues with that on the dates where they're not excelling at that stuff?
Probably. Yeah. I mean, you know, some are good. Some just naturally like know what to do, and some don't.
That's probably the minority, though. The few. There's not that many good
there's some
naturals.
where we're like, oh my god, like they text like books. They're texting books, and, they're like, and I'm like, oh no, yeah.
What's the bit? So I love this side of it because I'm sure the women come to you after the date and they're telling you what went right or went wrong after the date. Is that fair to say?
That's very fair.
All right. So what are the biggest common mistakes that you're finding guys are making? What are the women complaining about?
So the women are complaining. I guess sometimes the clothes, the haircut, like things like that.
Grooming.
We'll get grooming.
Stink.
Sometimes, I'll be like, take a shower, like make sure you wash your hair. Like it's like, oh my god.
How are you hiring a matchmaker and you're like not
You
taking care?
smell.
You're not taking care
Well,
of that
because
stuff.
it's you have no self-awareness, so you're like, I don't know, I'm showing up to these dates, the vibes are good, it's just they seem to be like holding their nose and leaving. I just don't really
We
understand.
really
so
overlook
unaware.
this so much, but I tell you, every other boot camp we do, there's always one stinker. And I gotta tell them, like, you need to go home and like put deodorant
This is
on
it.
or
This is
whatever.
our Dove for Med ad. Here we go. We're
There
gonna
you
get
go.
sponsored.
Dove, if you want.
Oh, yeah, Dove. We're looking for sponsorships.
And when I was doing, when Brett and I we were doing interviews, like on the beach, on
Right.
the Solus, whatever, I would say 1 out of 3 women, when they're complaining about men, they smell, they're grooming, their look. I feel like we need some more kind of fashion movement here.
So how do you like handle that? Do you like tell the guys like, hey, she thought you were really sweet, but she could just tell like something didn't smell right?
Yeah, I mean, like it was more like there was one guy who really needed to cut his hair, and I found like a hairdresser.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
So yeah, hands on. I love that.
I was like, okay, we need to fix this problem. And then he still wouldn't cut his hair, but like I tried.
But that's awesome that you're like taking the step to like
Yeah.
not just be like, oh well, we'll try again. It's like no, like go cut your hair, dude. I love that.
Would you say there's a look or a fashion style that's universally the most attractive to women right now?
That's such a hard question.
I'm just saying, like, is it the bad boy image? Is it more like professional, like the suit? Is it like a short cropped haircut, a messy look? Like, what is...
I mean, I think like all women are different, so.
Jared goes define attraction right now.
Yeah, do it.
It's like 2024, what's in? Go.
You're like every race, every look, every
That's
height.
the hardest question I've ever heard asked.
You know what though? Like,
Listen, that's the kind of show we run. We do the hard questions, right?
Dude, in her, she's like, okay, what age group am I dealing with? Like, there's so many factors there.
there's a lot of factors, but you know what? I think accessories are great. Like,
Nice.
I feel like a watch, like a nice pair of shoes, like some bracelets or something like
Backwards
that.
hat.
Probably not, but like those are.
Wow, probably not.
Get him.
I will say this. Okay, here's my
Jackie,
counter.
get him. I love it.
Here's my
Get him.
counter. Before I jump into the point, here's my counter.
Sick him.
I will say this. This is a quote, a favorite quote of a brand of mine. This backward hat, it may not be for you or for everyone, but this is a time machine. Because I put this on. I put this on, and all of a sudden, this backwards hat is a disguise. It's a costume.
The time machine's supposed to be for them. It's supposed to be nostalgia. It's not to make you look younger.
You
Let's
never know.
remind them of their past.
No, it's
Okay,
a
but look, I do like your
Yeah, break 'em
pants,
down.
your shoes, your backwards hat, the shirt. Like it all ties together perfectly.
As a plan.
Cool.
And
Yeah, it's
it
from the
looks-
same paint sample like collection. Yeah.
But it looks
coming
really
from the
good.
guy who looks like he used to date Lance Armstrong. I mean, come on.
Lance was a tender lover. I'll
I
have
can
you
see
know.
that. I can see that.
Tender.
All right, sorry. She was giving me a breakdown.
Would you put him out like this? Would you be like, yes, go on
No,
the
this
break.
is not dating attire.
This is not
athleisure.
dating
Yeah, this is
attire, but
athleisure.
like this is good for like if you had a brunch or like
Correct.
a lunchtime date would be
Yeah.
perfect in this. I just wouldn't say this is like your nighttime date.
I agree with that.
Lunch for people who are trying to stop deforestation.
For,
All earth tones.
Jack, and something that drives Jarrett and myself crazy, and I think you're seeing it in your industry, is because he was, if you knew his backstory and mine, we are all or nothing. So before we got into this, we had zero social skills, zero success with women. So it like blows my mind when guys are going to hire you, which I think is a powerful thing to do, or women, right? And spend money and invest in themselves, but then go halfway. It's like literally being like, okay, I'm out of shape. My health is at a huge risk. I'll go to the gym once a week. It's like, I don't understand how people don't have
It's not even
a little bit more commitment to, if I'm going to hire a matchmaker and I'm going to be serious about finding, ideally, like a life partner, going all in on themselves, right? In terms of like their health, their fashion, their social skills, right? Like what we teach, and then having you come in. I feel like, with all due respect, a lot of these guys should be doing those things first, and then when they're together and assembled, then it's like you should be the finishing touch, not the first thing to turn to.
I want to hear your thought. My whole thing on that is ego. Guys have an ego. They don't want exchange. They want the world exchanged to them. But I would love to. hear what you think on
Yeah,
that.
I mean, like I ask a lot of guys, do you feel like you're the best version of yourself?
There you go.
Yeah.
Like I straight up ask
Yes.
them that, and most of them say yes, absolutely.
So delusion is a big thing in your industry.
Yes, their ego.
Just straight up delusion.
Like you're clinically
But it's not even
obese.
ego. It's just
Like,
it's lack of awareness. It's like not knowing what bad is. Man, that's crazy. And do you give them the hard truth? I'm assuming, or
Yeah, I mean, like it really depends on if you really feel like you're the best version of your, like I don't know, like what do you say to that? How do you challenge someone when you say that? No, you can do better. Like you don't want to say that. I don't know. What would you guys do when people say absolutely?
we take them.
I would take 'em out.
Yeah, we take them.
We take 'em out,
That's
like,
literally what
let's
I was
see
saying.
it.
So I take what we call in field, which is like like a live club or lounge or bar like setting.
Okay.
And I just show them what they're doing right or wrong. So we like
Jack,
understand.
You want to see a grown man cry? And you want to see a grown man buckle up, the most confident guy you see. I have trained Marines. I have trained secret agents, literally spies for the government. I'm talking guys who go parachuting, like professional skydivers. I'd be like, go talk to that pretty girl over there, and they crumble. They can't do it.
You had one guy run away from you, didn't you?
I have many guys just literally run away. So what I would do is, I had one guy in Las Vegas, and he would not approach for life. He just refused to approach. So I'm like, if you don't approach, I'm going to do it for you, and you're not going to like what happens. And he's like, I'm not going to do it. And this guy's a millionaire, multimillionaire. He's successful, and he's not a bad-looking guy. Didn't smell. I made sure of that part. All right, he got deodorant on. He refused to do it. So finally, I walked up to the girl. I'm like, you see my friend over here? He really thinks you're pretty and he wants to talk to you, but he's really too scared. So he sent me over just to see if you would give him a chance at dating you. What do you have to say to that? And the girl's like, what? Like, I made it awkward on purpose. And he's just like, oh, like everything he's scared to say.
Right.
He's really attractive, but he can't really talk much. You know, he's just really, really shy, but he wants to know right now, would you date him? And she's like, I don't know, man. And like, and it made it awkward as hell. And I'm like, you got 3 seconds before you do the next one, or we're going to do this
We're gonna keep doing it.
And he books it. He just runs from me. And I had to like calm him down and tell him like, hey man, we got to like approach. So I started him off with like, can you ask a girl where the bathroom is?
Right.
You know, like something small, but like, these guys, they think they're great.
Call that a functional opener.
They're in, yeah, functional opener. They live in their like deluded world where they're like, I'm good, I'm great, I'm fine, I'm the best. Guys do it with fighting too, by the way. If you ask a guy like, could you hold yourself in a fight? Everyone's like, I'd be good, I'd be awesome. Like, no.
Jared, the problem is they do that, or they're in the polar opposite. They're like, I can't do it, I suck, I'm the worst, I'll never get good,
Right.
I don't have it. Like, there's very few people that are in the middle, which is like, oh, if I actually like apply myself and do the right steps and are not results oriented, I will get good. Like,
I don't think the woe is me type, the second would hire though, because they think it's hopeless no matter what. They'd be like, you show me these girls, they won't like me anyways because I suck. Like,
no, but I feel like most guys that, at least you know, the core that I've been coaching lately, are more guys have less confidence than too much confidence.
Right. Well, again, because the ones who come to us, obviously, are the ones who are like, I need help.
Oh,
I'm saying like the average.
So you're just projecting all the guys that don't sign up for the program.
Correct.
Yeah, it's like all the guys that don't sign up, you're like,
Our
that's
guys have conscious incompetence.
They do.
The mass majority of men
makes
unconscious
sense.
incompetent. They're so bad they don't even know
That makes
that
sense.
they're
I'd like
bad.
to hear though. I'd like to hear the categories of like people who are signing up for your service. Is it desperate? Is it just picky? Is it hopeless? Is it hopeful?
Do you ever get like a guy like an incel or?
Wait, a what?
And do you know what an incel is or incel, MGTOW, red pill? No.
Jesus.
He loves all
yeah,
this.
Yeah, he's into some kinky stuff. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
All my
Okay.
usual favorite. BDSM. The
the
incels are
acronyms.
guys who are like, I'm a like, you ever had a virgin sign up and be like, I can't date anybody, help.
I don't think they tell me if they are, to
Use
be
like Reddit
honest.
subgroups.
But
This is
there's all different guys. There's, you know, like a lot of guys are recently divorced. Like that's a big category for us. It's a lot of people who hate the dating apps and don't want to be on it. It probably is a lot of guys that don't like meeting girls in a bar. Like
Right.
that's actually why they come to us, because they're like, I don't want to meet a girl at the bar, because they probably know that if they tried and they went up to them, they would feel
Bingo.
really insecure and
Yep.
wouldn't like that feeling.
They don't want to feel the rejection.
Right.
So they would rather just like the done for you service, which makes it easier for them, I guess. But
A lot of busy professionals, I'm guessing, also.
yeah, a lot of them, yeah. But then like the thing is once they go on the date, like, you know, there's also an art of that, of not like we can catch a fish for you, but like,
Can you play it?
exactly, yes. So that's the part of it. And you know, like we work with them on that too, and kind of tell them, like, we give them feedback after their dates. Like some of these guys, like literally, like, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to walk a girl to her car or like pay for the Uber, like the valet. You know, like it's like, no, you should do that. But a lot of guys don't know that. They
We
don't
talk
know.
about that all the time, all the stuff that we even forget to bring up, like little details of like, we were talking about when guys are going on dates, similar stuff like getting the car door, like appropriate times to kiss a girl, like
How long to kiss the girl?
not while
like-
she's reaching for her napkin, like
Yeah.
little stuff like that. That it's just like every little detail. It feels like you gotta like hold their hand through, but it's important.
Yeah.
But you also get that through experience. I mean, some of the
Yeah.
stuff I didn't learn from a book or one of my mentors or all the way. Sometimes I just learned it by sheer volume.
But you made a really key point there. Learn from it. A lot of these guys are just doing the same thing
then
over
you're not doing my
and
success
over and
formula.
over.
You're not doing my success formula. My success formula is very simple. It's all in the book. You have to practice the point of obsession. I'm going to skip a step. Third one is you have to have a mentor. But the second one, what we're talking about, is you need to experiment like a scientist. You need to track what you're doing that works, what doesn't work. I'm assuming if we're going to find a guy the right match, if he has a bad date, it's like, okay, that's data, so not girls like that. If this is going well, we want more women like that. Like, you have to calibrate and fine tune every single thing you're doing. For guys who don't track what's working and what's not, you're doomed. Some of these
Right.
guys are like, oh, my online dating sucks. I'm like, can you be more specific? I'm not getting matches. Okay, what pictures have you tried? I tried 3, that's it. And I'm like, have you tested against anything else? Have you tried in the pictures? Have you noticed some pictures from more far away work better than ones that are close up? Like you gotta test everything. And if you're not doing that, then you're bound to fail.
Do these guys go through a similar process? Do you like have them take 5 or 6 photos, almost like a profile, before you're sending it to the girls that they're gonna date?
Yeah, and we'll work with a photographer if their pictures are terrible and have them shoot new pictures.
Nice.
But sometimes they get married to their pictures. And they'll be like, please put this one on here, and they'll make us like redo their profile like 3 times. So, yeah.
Is this for like online dating app or like internal?
No, it's like their dating profile within the company.
Yeah, so every guy who signs up, they get every girl who signs up, they get a profile. So their profile has like 2 or 3 pictures, like a headshot and a body shot. But yeah, I see it more with men than women, but like some people like don't know what pictures work. Like they have no, like I'm like, no, that's a terrible picture.
It's wild to me though that they're coming to a professional and still having their own opinions. Like you should leave that at the door.
Like
let you truly do the whole thing for them.
Bro, I was on my class today. You know, Chris over here, he made a good point. You know, I was literally doing a class. I'm like, say this. Within 2 seconds, he repeats it back to me different, and I'm like, no, just be a parent. Just say word for word. Say this, and it's like stop changing things. It's comical. Like, just go. So anyway, let's say Albert goes through your services because I really want to push this. I want to see what you can do.
So to catch you up, I'm the only single one on this panel.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, he's effectively married. He's effectively married. So, part of what Jerry wants to do. And by the way, I'll tell you this: I actually have worked with a matchmaker before. I've been in the dating industry for a long time, so I've done some collaborations with some.
Kicked out of a couple matchmaking clubs, right?
No.
They just couldn't do it.
I know that I'm.
He left her in tears.
I'm an interesting candidate for matchmaking because I date. Like I told one friend of mine who was a matchmaker, and I told her, listen, I'm a little different than anyone you ever gotten. And she goes, I'm sure you're not going to be. And then I'm like, you don't understand. Because it's hard to explain. Like, it's like I'm joining the junior police academy, and I'm a former Navy SEAL. Like, I was the captain of the Navy SEALs. So, like, my expectations are high, but, like, it's different. So, Jared, I'll let you lead the question. I know I'm sure you have a bunch of questions.
I love that she leads with these guys are too picky. They think so.
Yeah. She's like ego, and he's like, he's like, I had C for captain on my gun in the Navy SEALs. It's unbelievable. He's like, but no ego. I come in glass completely empty. Fill it up.
So let's just go back to more fundamentals. So Albert signs up for this, sponsored by Modern Success here, right? Yeah. What would be the process tell us step by step, what would he go through? What would it look like? How many women do you have in the database? Like, what are we looking at?
Women and men, where she does both.
But he's a man looking for a woman.
Okay, so the first step is we'd have to do your onboarding call. So we'd have to get to know exactly what you're looking for, like more things about you, what your hobbies are, all that, your end game, politics, all that stuff. We got to know that. Yeah. And then what are your most important values? Like, what do you really want in a partner? And so once we get all that taken care of, then we have your pictures, we make your profile, and then we're going to send you some profiles that we think are good for you just based on getting to know you. And so then you go on a date, we set it up for you, we'll book the reservation, you go, you meet, and then you let us know after how it went. If it went well, you keep seeing her. If not, we move and she goes into the sunset.
Did you say you make the dinner reservation for them?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love this. This is really 100%
done for you.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Punch your That's amazing. Yeah. Show up. Hopefully not smelling bad.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Honestly, maybe add that to the thing, like give them a little gift bag with like a deodorant.
A checklist.
Yeah.
Checklist is good for sure.
That might be good actually.
Listerine strips, like a little checklist. Love that.
Before the date, here you go. Listerine strip. All right, now go.
Yeah, I literally got these guys. You'll never see me in any public setting without one of these. Literally ever. That's interesting.
Somehow,
no, I mean, yeah. That's interesting. Okay, cool. So, and then the guys. So you don't have them choose their date. You suggest, right?
We suggest. So during your, when you're getting ready to sign up, we'll show you through a Zoom presentation, 5 or 6 profiles. And so that way we get a feel for which profiles you like, and then we can match you based on those, he liked her because she did this or she looked like this, and then we try to match you based on that.
Do you have any 5'10" bird-looking women?
Here we go.
That's his type. If you can find like a bird of prey.
So I've
Like,
told
what's
this, and the running joke with Brandon and I is that I feel like I'm in the wrong market for what I'm looking for personally, and I am exceptionally picky for sure.
What are you looking for?
Let's break it down. Onboard him.
Okay, so-
Onboard him.
Let's reverse it real quick. Give me some archetypes that you think are common dating female candidates in South Florida. Just give me like broad archetypes. We can be honest here.
Okay.
It's just us girls.
Yeah, just us.
Okay, so I mean, like, there's different body types.
No.
Binary.
Let's not even worry about body type. Let's just worry about like types of humans.
Oh.
Like I'll give you one. Like the like Miami has like a lot of like the Hispanic, very attractive Instagram model type, right? Would you agree?
Okay,
Would you agree with
yeah.
that? Right.
From the value girls.
So there's that kind of girl. There's like Boca and like the northern part has a little bit more of like the blonde, prettier New York, sometimes Jewish, wealthier, divorcee
I'm
types.
canceling this myself.
No, but I'm serious. Right? Am I right with that?
Yeah.
Why?
He's like sometimes Jewish.
No, I'm serious. But I'm giving you the archetypes of people who live in South Florida. There's no Jews in South Florida.
All
brother?
right, Davey, we got like a country.
Yeah. So,
He's like, you know,
no, but what I'm telling you is, so a lot of the different archetypes, and then there's the Russian, Eastern European, tall, good-looking gals that are in like
It's like the girls in
sunny
Southwest
Isles.
Rancher are horsing around.
No, but she knows I'm kind of not off base with this, right?
You're not on Facebook. I don't usually break them into archetypes, but there you go.
But that's what we're running into, right? Well, you know what you don't see? You don't see girls who are at a baseball game, drinking a beer, going to watch like a live rock band, and like going to stand-up comedy shows, right?
Can I try to describe
So like a
your
Midwestern, St. Louis, Missouri,
A down
Kansas City.
girl.
You don't see that very often down here.
He wants a very attractive, tall, blonde girl with Romanesque features, probably a little bit of a big nose, who's very athletic, sporty, loves dad jokes, and ideally is more of a night owl.
But she's also extremely attractive, but doesn't think that she's so attractive. But she's sort of attractive in a way that attracts others.
Oh, and Christian, and Republican.
No. Those two. So he's on like Windows. He's like a Windows 8.
Values.
No, but that doesn't matter as much. Those things are way less important.
Yeah.
What's more
Politics and
important?
religion.
Yeah.
Why would that?
He's
have
like,
to do
he's
with
like, I don't
anything?
care.
No, I think everyone overrates that. Like politics, like dude, nobody cares about
doesn't hurt.
It's too politics.
Yeah, he's like, I don't care. Like, we all want lower taxes, but we'll get to that later.
Politics is over. The politics is behind us. That's when for our youth. The age of politics is over. We look at our country.
I'm just saying.
I guess
if we
I don't have to
the
vote
perfect-
anymore.
anyway.
voting is done.
Is there anything I missed? I'm just adding any other.
No, what I'm trying to accentuate is I think that down home mentality mixed with a more attractive person is very uncommon in this market. Because I feel like the chink in the armor for South Florida is, I think, and I could be wrong, that I think that a lot of the more physically attractive women in this market are somehow differently leveraging their attractiveness to other parts of the country. What I mean by that is, if you're a really attractive girl in Nashville, Tennessee, you might have met your high school sweetheart and fallen in love and just been a regular person. But here they're like, oh, I can kind of leverage that to build an Instagram presence and get this many followers.
I can break it down so much easier.
Go on to a...
I can break it down so much easier. This is a nightclub and yacht market, and he needs a bars and sporting events market.
Yes.
That's all it
That's
is.
it.
And that makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Couple words. We don't have to. Yeah.
That's why we got here. That's why we got out of the big guy.
Ever see like Key and Peele? This is like
Jackie.
Albert's translator.
Jackie.
He's a translator.
Jackie, this couch is much simpler than over there. Don't worry. We're thinking clearly over here, but not political.
And he gave me a good one too. So another thing is I'm 30. Can you want to guess my age? Let's play.
He goes, I'm 30.
I'm 30 something. I mean, you look really young.
What would you guess? Just
Like,
what'd you guess?
I mean, now I know you're in your 30s.
Yeah, you have a 1 in 9
You would have
shot.
guessed 20s?
You look around like 30, 29, 28, somewhere
Yeah, so
around there.
I'm 39 years old.
You look amazing.
Thank you so much. If you want to know my skincare routine, link in bio. Just kidding. So but I have this weird thing where I do the opposite of what's big in
He has
South Florida
many
too.
weird things.
So I won't date a girl under like 25. Like that's a hard no for me. I need
Okay.
like an adult. But I also like can't do like I want to have kids. So I try not to go too like like I need them a little bit younger than me. So Brandon's thing, he goes, you have to date someone born in the 90s.
Right.
So can't be in the 2000s. So 24 and under's out, and 80s would be 35 and up. So I need like in the 90s. That's like my wheelhouse.
You got anyone like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, keeping it real simple for you.
Wait, can you believe he's single?
Can you believe it, right?
Unreal.
Needle in a haystack. So easy to find.
Exactly.
easy.
Yes. Yeah.
A lot to digest there.
I mean, there is a lot, but yeah, no, you know what I hear all the time? Like, every guy says, I want a girl who can dress up to the nines, but also wants to wear a ponytail and jeans and go to a dive bar.
Yeah.
To, like, the point where, like, literally every single guy tells me this. So, like, you're not really alone.
You have cool guys.
Yeah.
You have cool guys.
Yeah, he's like, any of them looking for a friend?
If anyone need a wing, I'm pretty decent.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I definitely think that's doable.
Okay, so that's
It's
not uncommon.
you're in your lane.
I'm in my lane.
You're in your
Sweet.
lane.
Hear that?
There you
In my
go.
lane, brother.
Is he the best version of himself that he can be?
That's a good point.
He does smell good, I'll give you that.
That's
He
it.
always smells
You
good.
got those strips.
That's the question for you. Are you
Oh,
Am I what?
I like
the
this.
best version of yourself you can be?
Oh, wow. I'll tell you this. My big...
This is an hour program, keep in mind.
Yeah. This is,
I have a couple big stumbling blocks. Is that based on the work I do with Modern Success and what I do? I run like a social club that has poker games and stuff. I work in non-traditional hours. So, for instance, someone was trying to a friend of mine was trying to set me up on a date recently, and like none of the nights that the gal wanted to go out worked for me. I'm like, I have a poker game this day. I'm coaching that night. I'm doing this. I'm recording podcasts. So my schedule and my availability is more limited because I'm very focused on my businesses.
also, timing. You're like a wake up at 2 p.m., bed at 7 a.m. So
It's not that late, but
That is a
I just
big-
don't answer your calls till 2.
But that is a big part of dating and relationships. It really is.
Now we're back to X Factor, right?
Right. Yeah. It is like a really
Like
big
I had a girl I was
part.
talking to. She's like, "Yeah, I'm going to be up tomorrow to go to the gym at 5 a.m," and I'm like, "We live.
Yeah,
Very,
but you guys
we
will-
live very
you guys
different
will
li-
overlap.
We live very different lives.
You'll be wearing different outfits, but you'll
her
overlap.
breakfast, your dinner, but you're there.
So
We're together.
that's my biggest stumbling block. Is that other than the archetype things I told you about, that's I think for sure my biggest stumbling block is that I'm on opposite hours, and that's a hard thing for different with night shift workers and stuff like that. So.
So to reiterate, he needs baseball-loving,
Here we go.
tall, blonde, graveyard shift.
Yep.
Got it.
Yeah, super simple.
We're gonna get on that. So on the other
Smart
side,
and rational too, not that emotional.
Born in the
you
90s.
can find something like I would be so. We have to bring you back and like interview how the date went.
Yeah.
If we could do that, that'd be amazing. Honestly, as a future episode. But so now we know what the men want. Down here, what about the women? Can you talk? What are they looking for? What's the most common things you see them saying?
Yeah, so I think a lot of men who have a lot of money kind of think that I have a lot of money, that's enough. And the truth is it's not anymore. Because women want a guy who takes care of themselves. Like, they want a guy who goes to the gym, who's fit. I mean, he doesn't have to have a six pack, but like, he needs to take care of himself. And that's a big thing that has actually. So I guess I've been doing this for like 7 years, and I've found more, even in a shift in the last like few years, of women care more about what a man looks like than I think they used to be honest.
I'll tell you this, Jack, and something that Jarrett came up with. I think is really, really genius and a good way to look at it is, there's a saying in our industry that attraction is not a choice. Attraction is kind of a byproduct, and the formula he came up with was value plus investment equals attraction, right? So what I think a mistake a lot of guys, and I see this very commonly, is guys that have money, they just assume money is this, it's over, just money.
Right.
But all money is a form of value, right? So value could be physical attraction. It could be sense of humor. It could be, money itself. But the problem is the guys with money are the worst at eliciting investment for that money. They're just like, throw money at the problem and it's fine. As opposed to being like, hey, you know what? We were really cool tonight in this modest date. Now you've earned this better thing that I can use my money, right? So you want to gain investment to then deploy that value. And that's how Jarrett says attraction happens.
I would say, if I have to go through the big three, right? There's like game, looks, and money, right? I agree with you from what I've seen, everything with my students, with my female friends, looks beats money. Money is like nice, it's cool to have, whatever, but like a girl's like, all right, you look better. But more than looks.
For younger women, I think, but yeah.
Regardless. But I think more than even looks, it's the guy's game or riz or whatever the fuck is being called right now. Because I've seen it time and time again. I would, back in my 20s, I would go to the club with like 15 or 30 girls with me. And I'd be out with them. We'd literally have a party bus taking them out. And then guys would approach. Obviously, I'm out with like 15 girls. I'm not like watching every single one. Guys would approach. They would talk to them. And I'd hear back what was going on. And a very common thing happened. I would see a way taller, better looking guy than me come up and talk to one of my girls. And then they'd talk for about 2 or 3 minutes. She'd come to me and she goes, "God damn it." I'm like, "What happened?" He was so pretty until he opened his mouth. He was so attractive, but then he talked and ruined it. And that was one of my big realizations, that a woman's attraction, unlike a guy, you see a guy's like, she's hot. Like, we might not like you, but like, you're attractive. Like, it's a guy's like a light switch. A woman, I found, their attraction is like a dimmer, like a knob. So she might be like, he's a good looking guy, but if he doesn't know how to act and how to talk and how to be, the attraction just instantly dials down, and no amount of looks or money is going to make up for that, unless you're telling me you're finding something different with the matchmaking world.
No, I think it's true. Like, if you have no idea how to talk to a woman, you're not going to do well.
And dude, that's like, honestly,
Regardless of looks and money.
What?
Regardless of looks and money.
Right. Like, you can, I mean, I don't know. If you're a sugar daddy and you're like, here's a, 50K allowance, then like, you might be able to get that.
I'll tell you what, I'm not going to say a name.
No,
one of our mutual friends, I'm not saying names, offered one of our girlfriends fucking like a $10,000 Hermes necklace.
Yeah.
Like some be like, I'll buy you, I think it's literally said, I'll buy you an island. Something ridiculous. And she's still like, nah, dude. Like, not into it. So it only goes so far. The girls who will fall for that are typically not the ones you're going to want.
Right. And as you've mentioned that, Jared, and I know that whole, the switch versus the knob, it actually like dawned upon me, not to bring it back to me, but like, that's what's happened to me. It's like, I've become, because of what the culture is down here, I can see literally the hottest girl in the world that like 15 years ago, I would have been like, I'm only learning this to meet her. And now when she opens her mouth, I'm just like, literally shoot me. Like, I'd rather have a much less attractive girl, relatively speaking, to what I used to be into,
right.
That has better values, is more intelligent, understands humor. I don't have to explain a joke to her, can be cool and has awareness, like all these different things. And that's what I think is lack. I think there's so many beautiful people in South Florida. I don't think there's a lot of beautiful minds. And I hate to say that, but that's how I feel.
And this led me to a discovery I've recently had. I actually came up with this in the last like 3 years. I've been a dating coach for like 18 years now, as of last month. And I actually came up with this new discovery, and it's for me, you, some of the other coaches, the other dating coaches I know. I don't think it's a men-women thing. I used to say men are like light switches, women are like knobs, right? I don't think it's a gender problem. I think it's an abundance thing.
Yeah.
Because my attraction now, like when I'm attracted to women, I'm like a girl. I'm literally attracted to women the way I see women attracted to men now. Like, you can be really good looking, and I'm like, screw this. Or a girl can be like, as long as she's decently attractive, if she's turning it on and she can like banter or whatever, I'm like, all right, this
commonality is way more now.
Commonality, and I'm like, oh my god, I used to be just like skinny weight tits, bro. Let's go.
Part of it's experience, right? It's like if you've gotten food poisoning, like you already know how this ends. So when somebody's giving you like a certain amount of attitude or a certain situation, you're like, boom, I can see into the future on how bad this is gonna go, and your body like rejects it.
I interviewed on the podcast Casey from F-Boy Island. I don't know if you've seen that show on HBO. Shout out to Casey. And he confirmed the same thing. He has women flooding him. I saw his Instagram. Women are like throwing themselves at this man. He's literally a fuckboy celebrity, right? And he said the same thing. He's like, my attraction's different now. I'm like, looks are great, and obviously like you want an attractive woman, but if she can't bring it and that energy's not there, right, we lose it. And I wasn't like that when I started my journey. I'm like, I'll take anything. I'm like a starving dog in a kennel.
That was our first barometer. Hot girl. I want a 10. Like because we had no social skills when we started, so we're like, what seems like the pinnacle? What's the top of the mountain? Oh, the hot girl, the 10, right? But now it's like, him and I talk about all the time. It's like, you don't actually ever really want to date or marry a 10.
I say get out of your system. I tell guys, get the 10. No, get it. No, I won't say date, but I'm like, get it out of your system, because then, only then, will you appreciate the. I hate to use the number scale.
I hate the numbers too, yeah.
But whatever, you know what we're talking about. Like, get that hot girl. Go get the glamored up supermodel, whatever, to show yourself that it's not all that. But until you do it, you'll always be wondering what if. I'm glad I did it. Like, because then you're wondering like, well, what if? But so you tell me, like, are guys just like, I don't even know the word. I don't even know the word for this. Like, are guys just don't have enough experience where they know what they want? Are they just like tits, hot girl, gimme, or do they have any real idea of what's going to make a good match?
I think everything you said is probably correct. Getting it out of your system. I think some guys come and they want the 10 because they probably haven't had it, and so they want that. And I just feel like there's a lot of women that are entitled because they're in Miami and because these guys are just throwing things at them. So they weren't like that when they first came here, but then they get like that because they're like, oh. So I think that's part of it.
You heard the 4-month rule in Miami?
Yeah, I was just going to say.
The 4-month rule. If you ask a girl, where are you from? It's like, I'm from Tennessee or I'm from Oklahoma. How long have you lived in Miami? And she's like, 2 months. I'm like, good. She's still got. If it's longer than 4 months, she's running.
She's had the world thrown at her.
No, I didn't even quantify what she just said, and it's genius. I'm always like, these girls are leveraging their attractiveness for like goods and services, and I'm like, why do they do it? And it's like because the guys throw the goods and services at them.
Yeah, because they do it, and it's. I mean, I don't know. It's not really anyone's fault, but I think at some point the women realize, like, okay, if I want to get married, if I want to have kids, like, I can't do this forever either.
I'll mildly disagree and say it's the guy's fault. The guys are ruining.
No, it is. She made me light bulb. You're right. It is the guys.
No, the guys are 100% because the guys don't go through the precursors in your system. They don't go through his system, and they throw money, and they're making the barrier to entry for even like a nice guy with good social skills, smells good. It's like, well, I'd rather go on this guy's boat. It's like you're just making the barrier to entry like crazy
and then
high.
It's hard.
Yeah.
So like I'll be honest, like when I was younger, I used to live in LA when I was in my 20s, and I dated a guy who was super, super wealthy. I moved in with him. I had this like, like personal makeup artist walking around, people doing my hair and like shopping, and then when we broke
have the same
up,
thing. His name is Brent.
But when you break up, then you're like, oh my God, I gotta go back to real life. This is like, like I have to go back to work. Like I have to, and so that's what happens to these girls is these guys spoil them. And then it gets really hard to like date somebody normal. And then eventually, like for me, I was like, oh, okay, well, I want to get married. I want to have kids. Like I can't be with these.
When did that light bulb go off for you? When were you like, I gotta take this seriously now?
I think it was like when I was probably 32. It hit me like my whole 20s. It did not hit me. Like I was an actress. I was living in LA. Like that was what was important to me. And it didn't hit me. And then at 32, I was like, oh God, if I want to have kids, like I got to do this. And so then when I finally like realized that, it happened really, really quickly.
So
and
I had the opposite journey of you. So these guys have known me for many years. So in my 20s, I was a high school baseball coach. And then a college baseball coach. I would give hitting lessons to 12-year-olds to be able to afford McDonald's. I was flat broke, and I was arriving on 30, and I'm like, oh wait, I'm 30 years old. I live in South Florida, and I want to like get married and have a family, and I have $138 in my bank account and a Miller Lite in my pocket. I was like, how do I do this? So I literally had to like reassemble my life, and like my goal is to like coach college baseball till I'm 100 and raise a family. And I'm doing everything to like assemble money to retire for that goal. So I had to do my life backwards, where I pursued my passion early, and then I was like, okay, passion down. Let's like do things that can gain me money, because I looked around at the market I was in, and I'm like, I can't compete with these guys. I drive a 2006 Hyundai Sonata. Like I can't. I'll take the girls to Roundup on a Wednesday night because it's free drinks for ladies. So like, oh, it's free drinks here. I didn't even know that's where I was taking you on this date. I knew. I feel like guys have to keep up with the rat race, because even at that time, I mean, Jared knew and Brandon kind of knew, I still had advanced social skills. I was already really good, but I had no money. So I feel like the guys get in that rat race where now I'm like, okay, I need the right watch and the right house and the right car. And I've accumulated all that stuff through work, but it's like, it's weird because I don't want a girl that wants me for it, but I know I need it, if that makes sense,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
It's a weird
So
thing.
I'd love to get your take on, like you said that your whole view changed once you got into, I think you said 32. So what were some of the things you were looking for in your 20s? And then how did that shift? Like what things did you start to look for? Characteristics of guys or stuff that was an automatic like, no, thank you.
Yeah, so I mean, like when I was in my 20s, I was just an entitled actress, and I cared about
Fair.
my career and like what I look like, and that's what I cared about. And so I was just like, oh, he could help me with my career. He's a director. He's a producer. Like, and so I was dating that, or like if he was successful, oh, you know, like he can help me with my rent. Like these are literally things that I was thinking about. And then when it was actually my 30th birthday that I was like, oh God, I'm 30 and I haven't like made it as like a big actress yet. What am I going to do with my life? And that's when it hit me. So it was probably 30. And then like by 32, I started like dating like normal guys that were marriage minded.
Okay,
That's when that
gotcha.
happened.
Did you make a conscious effort on that of like, I know what I dated before and now I gotta like buckle up and like actually date for real?
Yes.
It's so funny if you look at the timelines on a graph. It's like age and like dating plan for women. It's like going this way, and the guys are going that way. It's like the women are like having fun and getting all the stuff thrown at them early, and then the guys are like, oh, I got to work hard to like gain the stuff, and then they intersect on like the
Yeah,
on
it
that
actually
line.
does happen like
It's
that.
weird
That's
like that, right?
funny.
Yeah, it's-
Talk about like the sexual market value and
Yeah, I'm saying no. The guys are young and broke in their 20s,
Right.
and they can't compete with these rich guys throwing stuff at them. And the girls are young and hot in their 20s, and then they like converge in the middle, like as like the girls come out of their that
I
phase.
guess it comes. I mean, I think like I was reading some chart or whatever. Like the woman's sexual market value peaks at like 24, and then the man is like 35.
Yeah.
So like I guess it kind of like
It's, like,
meets
weird
like
like
around
this, yeah.
30-ish. It starts kind of like she's on going on decline. He's like right there. But like it sucks. I remember like dating when I was like 21 or 22 and being like, I got no money. I can't date any of these girls around my age. I just have to make up for like Joe's personality. And I'm not kidding you when I'm like, this girl's 2 years older than me. We're perfect together, compatible, awesome. We hit it off. She goes, "You're 2 years younger than me. This will never work out. Can't do it." I'm like, now I'm dating Anna's what? I don't know. She's 24.
Too young, yeah.
She's too young.
Yeah.
She's turning 24 this week. I'm 38. Like, easier sell. I'm like the crazy different age range, right? So like, I just realized growing up, like I gotta wait my time, and I think a lot of guys are finding that.
Yeah.
Where they're just like, I'm trying here in my 20s. It's brutal, and then eventually they now are in their prime, I guess, for dating. And I find a lot of girls actually shame the guys though, because it does make sense on a girl's side, but you have to see also from the guy's side. From the girl's side, like, didn't you get this out in your 20s? You're a man whore in your 30s. Like, didn't you get rid of this system like me? And I was like, no, because they had no options in their 20s. Luckily, we figured it out.
Yeah.
So we did it in our 20s. Now we're in our 30s. We're matching where the women
Well,
are.
in our 20s, we built our skill, and then in our 30s, we're building like what's going to be on our will, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like you gain skills and accolades differently. Let me ask you this: I noticed you're married now currently. Is that right?
Yeah.
So how did you meet your significant other? Was it through matchmaking or anything like that, or?
No, I was working with a matchmaker. That is something that I did. That's how I learned this business, is because when I was single, I'd just like go on all these dates. But my husband and I had met when we were in like our earlier 20s, and he was interested in me. I looked at him and was
Friend
like, "Oh
zone.
my God, no!" He's
Friend
like,
zone.
Yeah.
He was too much of a nice guy.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
he's
like-
the backup quarterback.
Yeah, he went
was 2 years too
yoga-
young.
Yeah, he went to yoga class, and then
So you
with
met him in
the-
yoga class?
No, I actually met him on a red carpet. It was this horrible movie. It was called Nude Nuns with Big Guns, and it was
Oh yeah, your sister's in that one, right?
it was so bad. And we had like the same publicist, and we ended up at this red carpet. We were both like complaining about it, and so we just like talked, and we were friends. But he was young. I didn't date young guys, and so I wasn't interested.
Young guy, not interested. Friend zone.
Just wait. If
Friend
you're young,
zone.
just wait your time.
Backup quarterback.
You're
You
backup
stayed
quarterback.
friends, right? Did you talk?
You'll
to
get the girl.
Did you talk to him about your other relationships and what was going wrong in those?
No, we were just kind of friends, and
Okay.
then I
He's
actually.
hearing her boyfriend is he's too rich.
So before I started doing the matchmaking, I was doing hypnotherapy and life coaching, and like I'd gotten into that side of it. And so he was my hypnotherapy client. So he came into the session, told me about his breakup, and then
Wait, he being your friend came to your hypnotherapy?
yeah, I posted on Facebook like
Good effort.
I
You need to
just
wear your
started.
patience.
No, that was
yeah.
good effort. He's
Yeah, it's nice by him.
That's nice by him. He's
Yeah.
putting himself like, let me make an appointment.
Yeah, he's like, I just don't get it. Like, these women just keep saying that I'm like too sexually generous. He's like, I don't know. Can you help me, please?
He's like, they
but
just
it-
keep stalking me. They're obsessed with me. It's
Yeah.
weird. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was actually me though, because I had a vision, and I actually saw him in a vision. So that was the weirdest thing. I saw a baby, and I saw him, and then I was like, we were just friends, and then I was like, oh no, absolutely not, maybe, and then the friendship blossomed, and that was that.
So how did that? What was it? So did you come on?
You
to
said
him
you
and
took
he's
you
like,
took the first step.
jackpot?
No,
Like-
I didn't.
Oh, you didn't
so,
make the first move.
I mean, I guess what I'm not saying is, okay, so there was some ayahuasca involved. And so I went on a spiritual retreat.
Oh, like vision.
Yes.
Fair.
And I had a vision. I had a spiritual retreat, and I saw him and I had gone through a really big traumatic thing that had happened in my life. And so I was really working on myself. I got certified in NLP. I got certified in hypnotherapy, all this stuff. And so I was brand new to being a hypnotherapist. He came in, I was on my spiritual retreat, and I literally saw him in a vision. I was like, absolutely not. He's a year younger than me. No, I would never date him. And then I just kept seeing it. I was like, okay, fine. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. So I texted him, and I was just like, hey, how are you? He didn't respond back for a week. He
Love
didn't
that.
respond.
Sorry.
Damn, nice.
Love that for him.
And then he was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I missed your text message. And so, yeah, we were just friends. And then one thing led to
She's like
another.
a week, or the life of a girl. They live the best lives.
Sick give and take.
It's so great. Oh,
Did you let him know, like, I saw our baby in a vision and we got to, like, start...
Once we got together, I definitely did not do that until we got into a relationship, because
Smart.
he would think
Nice
I was a
move.
whack
Smart.
job.
In his mind, I feel like there's still one missing piece, because in his mind, he's friend zoned. God forbid, he's 1 year younger than you. He's screwed. And now all of a sudden you're like texting him. He gets back a week later.
Well, no,
Did
they
you-
rekindled. They
We
rekindled.
rekindled.
Right, but like, how did you get him to? How did you bait him to make the move and be like, "Hey, I'm not just a friend"?
She texted him.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. I just
That was a move?
That's a move. Of course, that's a move.
that's a move.
But they've been friends all the time, so he started hitting on you immediately after.
No, it took time. We started hanging out. Like, he came to my place. Like, I went to his place. We started like hanging out. And
I bet you
Was
put
the
it
yoga
together.
like a plan thing? Let's go to yoga together, like small container.
well, the yoga was like after the red carpet. So that was like earlier. Like that was the first
Did you
time.
guys do things with like mutual friends, like small groups?
No, we only hung out like once.
Okay,
and
no-
then
no
we were
small
just
groups.
Facebook friends.
Oh,
Yeah.
Facebook friend.
Yeah,
Okay.
just Facebook friends. Yeah.
Interesting. So
Coach Jarrett, how is a text from a girl not a move? I gotta go.
It's
on
a move to rekindle, but I want to think this guy's head. He's like, she's never been into me. I'm a year younger. I see him having like, I got in a shot with her. She's hitting him up, talking with him, but he's just like,
yeah, but
She flipped that on its head with a text.
You're projecting too logical of a thought process, where most guys who don't break things down the way we do are just like, she texted me, let me take a shot.
Let me take a shot.
They're
Yeah.
just knee jerk. What is the moment telling me? They're just impulse.
Right, like, she breathed. Go.
Yeah.
Go.
Oh, why not? Maybe
Go.
now's the time.
yeah.
You're not like, let me read the indicators and see what the writing on the wall
Like,
says.
tell me there's a chance.
if she sneezes, that's not allergies, pal. That's the sign.
That's a sign.
Yeah. So that's
man.
a good story. That's cool. So
So what I want to know though is when you got back into like, okay, I'm finding like a life partner. What were some things that were like absolutely not from guys? Like, were there some like easy ways to be like, nope, sorry? Like if a guy started immediately talking about his money, is that like a no? Or if a guy was like, I don't know, way too into fantasy football or whatever, like, are there some
Dragon?
Yeah, like are there some markers that you were just like, sorry, this isn't gonna work?
Yeah, I mean, there was like I told you I was working with a matchmaker. That's how I learned
Right.
like the business, and I said yes to everybody. I was like a
okay.
matchmaker's dream, because I was like, oh, you never know.
Give it a shot, right?
Yeah, I went on some terrible dates, and like, yeah, they would do. They like one guy, I was literally like, oh my god, I can't like even be here any longer. And he had this amazing house and this beautiful Lamborghini, and I was like, do not care, go, like, get me out of here as quick
Love
as.
that.
He was just boring. Like, I feel like a lot of people they're not the most interesting, and they don't ask questions. They talk about themselves. They're just like, I don't think everybody's a narcissist. I just feel like a lot of people are very self-absorbed.
So that's a big thing we teach and coach. A lot of like other companies in the space, they mistakenly like try to tell you like you gotta boost yourself up and talk about yourself and tell all these crazy stories, and like women don't really care about that. Like not women that are put together, in my opinion. So that's really interesting that you were aware of that. That it was like, even though he had all the external things, right, Jared, the mansion, the Lamborghini, you still were so like bored that you like didn't invest at
So
all.
bored.
And then pissing me off every time I talk to these guys online, I'm talking to guys who might be interested in mom success, whatever. they're always like, no, I'm really busy working on myself. I'm just working on myself, which is just code for I'm trying to make more money. I'm trying to make more money. I'm trying to make more money. And it's like, you could have the Lambo and you can have the mansion, but real working on yourself is being not boring, is by being interesting, learning humor, learning calibration, EQ, emotional intelligence, social intelligence. It just, like, does not ever get discussed enough. It's like it's like a meme. Women are like, men need to go to therapy because I don't think they're aware of what we do. Yeah. So the closest thing they could think of is therapy. Like, just get a personality, figure shit out. But in the men's side, they have the ego. They're just like, I know I'm good. And you ever heard of passport bros? That's a whole other side of it. You heard of passport bros or no?
No.
These are guys who are so full of themselves that they refuse to change so much on a fundamental level. They just believe women in America suck. And so they're just like, I'm going to go to Guadalajara or Guatemala and
like the 90-Day Fiancé.
And
That's
whatever.
nuts. So these guys are just convinced they're like in the wrong market and they're looking to like date girls from another like region. That's nuts.
They're literally
He's making fun of me.
That's so crazy.
That's a not so thinly veiled slash at me there.
That's nuts. That's why.
As soon as he started saying that, I'm like,
they give up on America. There's like, American women aren't feminine anymore. American women are ruined and spoiled. So I gotta find a girl in Colombia or some shit, right? And that's kind of how we met. Funny enough, do you remember how we met? I don't want to say his name, whatever, but some guy came over to fix Anna's TV mount, and I had no idea who the hell he was. I was in the other room like working, whatever, and I come out. I'm like, some guy's in my house. I'm like, hi. Like, what's going on? What's up? I told Brandon, I'm like, hey, there's a guy who might not be.
The guy came over to do some mounting with Anna?
He did some mounting. I was like, he was so disappointed because like some cute single girl was like, can somebody help me with my TV? And he's like rushing to like help out. But anyway, he quickly realized what we did. He was fascinated. And he started complaining. He's like, there's no good women here. Everybody sucks. There's no women that cook for you anymore here. Literally, Anna's in the kitchen making dinner. And I'm like, he's like, but how? How do you do it? And it just amazes them that it's like, you attract what you are. If you think... on another podcast, I heard a great quote, and it just wasn't flipped. And it was kind of a chauvinistic podcast. I'm not going to bring it up, but he told a girl, he's like, listen, if pussy is all you have to offer, then pussy's all I want. And I'm like, fair, but the reverse is also true, that women can be like, if money is all you have to offer, then money is all I want.
Right.
And I think we're getting to this like transactional dating hookup culture shit versus how about you give a girl an amazing experience that, yes, it can involve the yacht, it can involve cool stuff, but it has to involve you as an individual. And like, that's what's missing right now.
Yeah, they're just like situations and setups. They're not like relationships and like love anymore. It's just like, this is comfortable. Like, I'm going to stay in this.
Transactional is probably the most troublesome idea behind the pitfalls in South Florida dating. I think it's transactional, like Jared said, not just on the girls' end, but in the guys' end too. It's like it's a two-way street where it's not about connections and like having commonalities and being well suited. It's gotten a little transactional.
Well, especially down here, they're willing to go broke to impress the girl at the table by buying bottles and whatever. And this guy's got to go back to his like 9 to 5 making $40,000 a year, which there's nothing wrong with, but don't be spending $2,000 at the club trying to impress people.
They'll spend $10,000 on a table and a bottle, but on $3,000 on themselves, like figure the shit out at a high level. Like it's so ridiculous.
You can tell Jared's upset with sales lately.
I'm just saying. I'm just like, it's so funny to watch the math on this shit. I know. But do you do like any follow-ups with these guys, or like what's the process of after they go on a date? How many of them last? What is the biggest common pitfall that happens after you match them?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that I see a lot of is people get into relationships that last like 1 to 3 months. Like they don't last. Like that's the thing, is they can get the girl, they can keep her interested, but only for like a month, or maybe, who knows? I mean, maybe it's the girl is entitled novel. I'm not really sure. It's like both is happening, but the relationships don't last as long as they should unless the person is really, really ready for love. And like when they are, then they do last. But
do they come back to like hangdog expression, like it didn't work, like she left me, I need another one?
Yeah, like some of them get upset. Or, they blame it. I mean, like the thing is a relationship is a two-way street, as you know. Right. And if it doesn't work, it's not just one person's fault. Absolutely not. It's both your faults. And I think that's like a big thing, is that people don't take blame for their own actions when it doesn't last. because it's both ways.
I want the good stuff though. What's the best excuse that you have used or somebody in your matchmaking program has used to get out of a date?
Ooh.
There's got to be some funny stories in there.
Oh, my girlfriend was
Yeah.
in a car accident. I gotta go. Like,
There's got to be some funny
yeah,
stuff.
I mean, there's been that. I mean, people get sick. People like take pictures of themselves in the hospital. Like, and then you look at the armband. Like the date is not like today's
That's
date.
amazing.
Like,
Fake hospital.
Wow,
Oh, you guys know fake hospital's big?
selfie.
Do they text you immediately? Are they like SOS? Like, what did you do to me?
I mean, like they're just like, oh, I can't make it. Like, yeah, there was one guy that was crazy. Yeah, he was like sending me hospital pictures, and I was like, oh my.
Jeez.
But yeah, no, I think everyone's just getting flakier and stuff like that. So I'm assuming you've had some success stories though, right? Some
Yeah.
marriages and some
Yeah.
children. What's any ones that stand out for you?
I think a lot of people think that long distance doesn't work, and it does. Long distance actually
wow.
works.
I'm
really
pro long distance, by
I
the way.
would not have guessed.
I have a theory that
wouldn't have-
long distance is actually as sustainable or attainable as short distance.
I believe that long distance works better.
Okay, here goes Shaw. Why not?
It's too many.
Short distance.
It's just too many. He's like, I recently heard that Delta is offering specials from the Midwest
No.
to South Florida, girls.
I have a crazy theory that I think long distance is more viable than people give it credit for.
It is.
Like frequent
It
flyer
is.
miles, there's so many benefits.
A lot of our marriages have been long distance because it moves really, really quick. Because you have to get to know the person. So you spend like a week with them. They come to you for like a week. You come
get really
for a
comfortable really
weekend. Yeah, and then someone just moves, and then
How do you do the family? How do you?
Oh, they move. They move.
okay.
they
Somebody
move.
came.
Somebody moves.
So this is a little. I heard this from a comedian or whatever, and it's a little tongue in cheek, but I think there's some truth to it. So obviously, everyone knows the divorce rate now is higher than it's ever been.
I think at 56%.
Right? Is that what it is? 56.
Good for you for not contributing, Al.
No, you're welcome.
I applaud you for that.
You're welcome.
That's nice.
And-
Sit on the sidelines.
But one of the jokes is like we've also never had less time away from your significant other. So like most people now, or everyone now, has their phone in their pocket at all times. A lot of people work from home, and their spouse might work from home. Like in the 60s and 70s, you'd wake up, you'd see your spouse, you'd have breakfast, and be like, "All right, see you later," and then you wouldn't talk for 9 hours. And then like sometimes space is good. Whereas we're too on top of our people. We don't have any, like people don't get to live their independent lives. And it's easy for a year or two or three, but when you're doing it for 40 years, sometimes it's bad. Like I love being around these two idiots, but if we're in the same room for a month straight, like we can go stir crazy. We saw it over COVID. Me and him, almost went to blows one time. So like it literally, I think that there's something to be said that space and like individualism is like actually important. Do you agree with that?
For sure. For sure. Like I spoke to a guy today, and he was like, "Oh, I need somebody who's passionate about something. Like I don't care how much money she makes, but she's got to have something going on. I don't want
Like her
somebody.
own life. She needs her own
I don't
life.
want somebody
Yeah.
texting me all day long. Like I've had that. That's terrible. And I'm like, okay, like that's the thing. So yeah.
Independence is like super underrated.
Oh, because you end up in the dinner table and you're like, so how was your day? Oh, I know exactly how
You know
your day
every
was
minute of their
at
day.
every minute, and we have nothing to talk about.
It's a Seinfeld episode.
And that's how
Kramer looking at Jerry, but like, how was your day? Oh, I had a good day. How about your day? How
yeah.
did you do?
and those are the couples you see at dinner. They're at a nice restaurant, and what are they doing?
On their phones.
They're both
Texting.
on their phone like this. They're scrolling. They're mindless. Those are relationships that I think will eventually crater.
How long? I mean, you're married. What the fuck are we talking about? How long you been married?
I've been married for 6 years.
All right, so you tell what is the secret here? What keeps a good relationship together?
So, okay, truthfully,
Yeah.
Not
That's all we do on this show.
This is the truth. Yeah.
okay, like sex, intimacy, that's huge. Like I'm gonna like be way too honest, but like if that part of my relationship goes for like a few days, like my husband gets really grumpy, and like I'm
Wow.
like, oh, I don't want to be around. Like you
So
know,
you're
it's
dating
like,
Brandon.
No
like,
comment. No
I mean,
comment.
like, it's gonna be like a week or a few days. Like if we miss like that because we're too busy in our own lives, like we're not connected. And I feel like that's a huge part of connection. And I also feel like making sure that you're still the best version of yourself. Like I go to the gym every single day. Like even though I'm married and I have 2 kids, but like I still need to look good, right? And I think that's a lot of relationships. People are like, oh, Mary, I don't need to look good anymore. It's like, all right, no. Like, I tell I'm like, go to the gym. Like, go. Like, I send him there.
I think sex needs to be included in health and wellness. It's like, go to the gym, hydrate, like, have a healthy sex life. Like, because you're just going to
100%.
function better.
Yeah.
100%.
For
I
sure.
don't know why it gets like a whole other category, and it's like, no, it's this and that. It's like, no, if you did the treadmill, like, you're doing me. Like, let's just be honest.
Jared, do you know like is it the 4 rule or something? You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like they say like good marriages have like every 4 months you go vacation, every 4. You know what I'm talking about? There's something like or every week you go.
There's a metric. I know what you're
it's
talking
like a metric.
about.
Every week you have a date night, and I think a lot of people don't do that. It's like it's super hokey and people overdo it, but like still dating your wife, I think is.
Well, I mean,
So what's your issue with it? Like, counting's tough for you? Why don't you do it? Like, what's going on?
No, I agree with it. I think she's spot on with what she's saying. It's like it sounds like she's treating her marriage like she would be treating her dating life, and I think that's why
you
it's
should
successful.
never
Well, it's like-
stop dating.
Yeah, I think it's also like knowing your love language and then being able to give your partner their love language. And so I think that's like a really big part of it. And so like I think a lot of women don't want to say that their love language is gifts, but like one of my love languages is gifts. And like that's me being like 100% authentic. They don't need to be big things, but like having a date night at the mall is like great for me. I love that.
That one triggered me hard. So I have like, can I be honest with you? You're just honest with us. So like I hate dating apps. I think they're the worst thing for society going. Keeping it mild, but nothing triggers me more.
No strong opinions.
Nothing triggers me more than when I see on a girl's dating apps, my love language is gifts. Because to me, that's just like what I told you earlier. It's like the transactional gal. Like I'm weird where I want to give gifts to a girl that doesn't want gifts. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But she can't help it. That's what she naturally responds to. Like you said, it doesn't have to be expensive.
I know,
gifts.
but what
it could be thoughtful gifts. It could be.
But I think most women's love language, like one of their love languages is gifts. Like that's.
Well, I know like Anna's is words of affirmation. Mine is acts of service. I know one girl, physical touch. But yeah, a lot of them are gifts.
But it's like that's not like my full love language. Like it's like you have like your love code. Like there's like
I
like
think
3
gifts-
parts to it.
I
But
think it
gifts
has
is
a-
one of them.
Yeah, I think it has a connotation though, because like I definitely think that one of mine is gifts as well, but it's not like gifts. It's like, oh, you bought me like some
thought of me.
socks because I needed socks.
Right.
So I think it almost overlaps with acts of service sometimes. Is like getting me something I need, like getting me a cup of coffee to cheer me up. Like that
Exactly.
counts as a gift. Like my girlfriend just bought me an air fryer and I fucking love it.
Yeah.
But that's like not what a lot of people would classify as a gift. It's not like a nice watch or whatever, but it's a gift.
I think
And I
you're
love
thinking
it.
gifts like a Chanel bag. I mean, that's not what she's
Right.
saying. It's like
Because-
it could be small.
So my thing is, my love language is not even a real one. Is like lack of entitlement or like expecting nothing.
No,
or
but
selflessness.
I'll
you know what I'm
I
saying?
love
Like,
language. America's up on a spot. It's a hidden six.
no, but I'm saying like that's my thing. What I want is somebody. So I want somebody who wants nothing, so I can give them everything. If they expect
But that's
things,
not a love
But
language.
you're missing.
that's how I operate.
How do I show? I'm going to tell you more today how much I want nothing.
I'm not
Just
I'm,
be like, no, don't get me anything. Like, I want a girl who literally
you're like
doesn't
the
want.
Seinfeld of dating. Like I want a girl about nothing.
Yeah, I want a girl who doesn't want or expect anything, so then I can give her everything she doesn't.
But you're missing it. You're completely
weird.
missing
It's
it.
weird. I know.
Women
I know, it's
like
weird.
gifts. Well, the ones that are saying gifts for the right reasons, they like gifts because it shows what? That you were thinking about them.
Exactly.
You were out, you were doing something, you planned something, you were listening
He
to
only
something
wants
they
to
wanted.
think of a girl who doesn't want to be thought
Right.
about.
No, I know. yeah.
Weird.
But when she says gifts, that's what she's talking about. I'm assuming.
And
It's
I
like,
have no beef with your personal situation. I think it's leveraged differently in the South Florida
yeah,
market.
you're South Florida poisoned.
Yeah, it's like I think it's a South Florida lens.
He's like,
that
I'm
looking
not
at.
buying you a boat for Christmas, sweetie. Like, out of the question.
Yeah.
Right, but like like all girls like flowers.
Right.
Like that's
Yeah.
a thing. Like women like to be courted, and so I think like it's nice to do that and tell her she looks nice.
Where's
like-
the line between courting and simping?
Great question.
like I think there definitely is a line, but it's like what is your intention, and that's part of like what we really ask these girls, like, what are you looking for? Do you want like a real relationship, or do you want like an arrangement? Like, what do you want? Like, do you
I'll
want to
tell
be
you. You want me to tell you the answer?
I think I would too.
The complete line is if you're giving gifts to reward good behavior versus simping is giving gifts to elicit good behavior.
Yeah, reciprocation does not work in attraction.
Right.
That's the ultimate.
That's the 100% the line.
You cannot buy a girl a drink to make her want to talk to you and attracted to you.
If a girl's being fucking awesome, buy her whatever you want, and it
Correct.
can't be classified as hippie. If a girl is being shitty and you're trying to change her mood,
I think that's officially the smartest thing you've said on the show. I literally think that's like, you get a award for that.
we did
one.
it.
That,
How
like,
many episodes? I was bound to say something smart.
I can't give a better answer. I think like that really hits it on the head.
I was bound to say something smart.
But the perfect definition, because so many guys will try to buy a girl's affection. For example, I'll do drills with some of my guys when they join Modern Success. I'm like, all right, I'm a hot girl. Approach me. What would you say? Hi, can I buy you a drink? I'm like, wrong.
Right.
Because instantly, which sounds good. Like, I get it. It's courting. And by the way, there's no woman who would say, I don't want a guy to come and approach me that way. But what a girl wants isn't always what she responds to.
Right.
And again, through religiously I think we did the math once, like 8,000 something approaches each individually, so like 16,000 amongst us.
I have way more than that.
You're probably more, okay, back when we did it, you're more than me, granted now. But I've done about like 8,000 approaches in my life, okay? And what the can I buy you a drink gets you is a minute of conversation where she's just like, I'm ready to leave, I want my drink, I'm gonna get back to my friends. And versus when a girl likes you, and I'm like, we're vibing, hey, you know what? I'm gonna get a drink. You wanna join me and have a drink with me? That's when
you hit a vibe and the moment's good and you're like, shit, you're pretty cool. You know what? We should go get a drink.
Because it's not
justified and it's congruent.
I agree.
That's when it hits.
Yeah,
it hits so much harder.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that.
Because some girls are so like we'll be at the bar and a girl's like, hey, can you buy me a drink? I'm like, why? So you can make fake conversation with me for a minute and then have to go to the bathroom? Like, it's not my first rodeo. Sorry, but like, no.
You're a vending machine at that point.
So have you heard of like the Tinder diet or no?
No, I don't know what that is.
All right. So apparently these girls are on Tinder just to get free meals. They know they can match with a guy every day of the week, go on the meal. I think also Seeking Arrangement. I'm sure you've heard of.
Yes.
Same thing. These girls actually not only making a free meal. One of my assistants, I won't say her name, but one of my assistants actually was on it literally just for free meals. It's like sometimes the guys would give me like $500.
So it's called Seeking Appetizers.
She got a meal, she got money.
Seeking
I'm like,
accounts, really.
Yeah.
I'm like, what a great life. This girl's like 20 years old and she's just like, I'm getting $500 to go to a dinner with some guy, never talking to him again. And then she's like coming back to work here. I'm just like, this is insane.
That's simping to a whole other level.
Yeah, that's crazy simping. The guy's like, here's an envelope of cash. Please hang out with me. Like, I feel like there's got to be more. So hopefully, if guys do want to start paying for successful women, they should go to the experts, go to you. So how can these guys find you?
Yeah.
What's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, so our website is idldiamondclub.com. And then my Instagram is The Fairy, but I spell it Faery Matchmaker.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome.
All right.
Yep. We'll include her link for sure.
You'll see the link. Will be down here. And yeah, go get yourself a matchmaker. It'll be worth it.
Get matched up. Linkativity.
All right.